We have an iTeam exclusive tonight. Stunning new DNA evidence has surfaced in a decades-old double murder on Staten Island, showing that the DNA does not belong to the convicted killer. So why is the DA standing by the conviction? And did race play a part in this case? Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace has the surprising twist.
I was coming home from the doctor's.
Franny Rosa took us back to the crime scene, still haunted nearly 33 years later by what she says she saw outside her sister's apartment on Staten Island in 1993.
He swung the door open and was like, "There's a woman and baby dead."
She's talking about Thomas Moriarty, her sister's common-law husband, now deceased, who told police he found the bludgeoned bodies of Theresa Jones and their 2-year-old son, Tommy. The child's older sister, Lizzie, now 41 and living in Florida, says she never understood why cops didn't consider her stepfather a suspect.
He drank a lot. They fought a lot. There were broken bones. We had escape plans for every different apartment we lived in.
Court documents show that Moriarty was allowed to go back into this apartment before the crime scene was investigated. And then he was asked to inventory what he thought might be missing. Moriarty identified a hammer and bag owned by Phil Robinson, a local handyman and close friend of Theresa's who often babysat the kids. They called him Uncle Phil. Robinson was arrested, convicted, and is now serving 2 25 years to life sentences at Sing Sing. This was his first interview.
Every time I, talk about them or think about them, I get emotional. Of course, Theresa was basically my sister. I always call her my sister. And Tommy, that was my little man. That was my nephew, They're my family.
Why do you think you were targeted?
I'm black. The victims were white.
Robinson says he voluntarily went to the 122nd precinct and was then questioned by the lead detective who called him the N-word.
He said that?
Yeah.
It was a racial situation because my sister was white, baby was white, and back then there was a lot of racism going on. He didn't do it. I know he didn't do it.
So what evidence was there? Let's start with the bag and hammer, found the next day in a nearby abandoned building by 2 neighborhood men who later testified they had been sent by the lead detective.
It doesn't make any sense why a homicide detective, if he had information that critical evidence was located somewhere accessible to him, would decide to direct 2 civilians to search that area.
Robinson's current attorneys say the entire investigation was driven by tunnel vision and have now filed a motion to overturn the conviction based on actual innocence.
The evidence shows that the detective took the hammer out of the bag with his bare hands, and then he left that building and put the bag in his trunk. He mingled it together in the car with other evidence.
The detective later wrote that Robinson gave an incriminating statement which was never signed.
He said you basically confessed.
I didn't confess to nothing. I didn't do nothing.
No forensic evidence definitively linked him to the crime. Prosecutors cited a bloody speck of blood on Robinson's sock they said may have been Tommie's, but now a dramatic twist. New testing by the city's Office of the Medical Examiner of DNA underneath Theresa's fingernails shows it's not Robinson's, but there were 2 other unknown contributors.
Of course, I wasn't there. I didn't do it.
The Staten Island DA's office, which began reinvestigating this case in 2022, told the I-Team it conducted an exhaustive review and is convinced the conviction was supported by the evidence. They wouldn't comment on the DNA results, excluding Robinson.
They don't want to admit that they did wrong or that those before them did wrong.
Lizzie, determined to free her uncle, has become a vocal critic of the DA's office on social media.
It seems that justice is no longer the goal here.
Why are you leading the charge here to free him?
Because whose voice should be louder than mine? If anyone should be getting justice for my mom and my brother, it's me. This is not justice. There's no way that she is resting, knowing this is happening to someone that she adored completely.
I want the world and everybody to know that I love them. I didn't do it. I'm innocent.
The DA's office was supposed to respond this month to the defense motion to overturn Robinson's conviction, but a judge has now given them until early February. Robinson says he just wants a court hearing to present the new evidence, including the DNA. From Sing Sing, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.
This afternoon, a man was sentenced to